Dear students, we have finished first module, that is OB model and development, which consists 5 different lectures. Now, today I am going to start second module, which is very important, individual behavior dynamics. Every module is having 5 different lectures. You must be knowing this advanced organizational behavior, which I have proposed, having 12 different modules, and every module is having 5 different lectures. Total there will be the 60 lectures, which covers basic to advanced up to research scholars in the field of commerce management, psychology, sociology, and some other area where organizational behavior is one of the major subject of their course. Second module's first lecture, individual behavior dynamics. By the name itself, it is very much clear. What are the changes may be at different point of time that should be studied very carefully. Dynamism, what level of changes? Quoting example, personality of different person change at different point of time. Dynamics, sometimes we are supposed to change our personality. The today lecture is very important of individual behavior dynamics, personality dimensions. Personality dimensions, which is much popular, big 5 personality dimensions, which is the concept of 1980 and 1990. That was much popular that times. What exactly traits in personality which we are found? The 5-factor forces, 5-factor model that defines all of traits of personality. It is the main discussion of today, first lecture of individual behavior dynamics. Now students, let us start exactly what is the 5-factor personality dimensions. What are the agenda? Big 5-factor personality dimensions, characteristics of big 5 personality dimensions, impact of big 5 personality dimensions, applications of the big 5 dimensions in the workplace, limitations of the big 5 dimensions. That means you will be studying under this lecture basic concept of big 5 personality dimensions and its contents, and how it is impact on behavior, how it is impact on workplace, and what is the outcome of this kind of personality. If any particular person having this type of personality, is it helpful? Can we change? Is it possible? So that will help to the practitioner, researcher or managers, what kind of personality is required for particular job, personality job dimensions, personality factors. Without understanding personality, we can place one particular person in particular post. Let us start the beginning of big 5 personality dimensions. Openness to experience, conscientiousness, extraversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. There are 5 different personality dimensions, which is 5-factor model. Openness to experience its clarification is required basically. It is one kind of trait basically. Like as one person, if he is having this kind of traits, he will be imaginative, curious, creative and open to new experience. If you have this personality, openness to experience. Some people are high openness, some people are low openness. High openness people are open-minded, they are very curious, they are imaginative, they are willing to try new things, and they are the great researcher. They are having the quality of inquisitiveness, perseverance, they have the capacity of intellectual exploration, creative pursuits. We have great example, artists, they are exploring new ideas, cultures. This is the example of high openness. Low openness, individuals with low openness may be more conventional, prefer routine and avoid unfamiliar or abstract ideas. They are remaining in the comfort zone. They are typically more practical, conservative in their thinking. They are preferring routine work. They are having the personality of resistance to change or new experience. By and large, you can say openness to experience is one of the major domain of personality. Want to be creative? That means you must have the high level of openness. Without opening all kind of things, without understanding all kind of things, you may not be creative. Low openness may be like that people are involved in only routine job. They may not be the creative. They can't do any good things. Now the thing is that is the personality that can be changed through some kind of practices. And persons are having talent, but they have the level of low openness. Then what to do? I think what is most important nowadays, if we talk about the 5-factor personality, high openness, low openness, it is the matter of understanding, matter of what kind of forces, that what kind of stimuli that force to somebody to be openness or highly or very low level. Those who are in low level, conservative people, they can be converted into openness through some kind of training, some kind of practices, some kind of, doing different types of role, assigning some kind of new type of tasks, whereas openness is required. Next point of your particular presentation, conscientiousness. What exactly? Conscientiousness is very important part of any particular organization that measures degree of organization, dependability, self-discipline and individual thermostat. What exactly? High conscientiousness means what? People high conscientiousness lead to be responsible, organized, reliable and goal oriented. Low conscientiousness, those who low conscientiousness may be more spontaneous, disorganized, less focused on planning or detail. That means at what level you are self-disciplined, that define these particular traits. If you are in high level, that means you will be responsible, you will be organized and you can manage your own. Low level of conscientiousness means you are maybe disorganized, you may not be the focusing particular context, particular issues. Your concentration will be very less. What level of discipline, what level of self-motivated, that can be understood by using these particular traits. Now see, The second, extraversion, is one of the great traits of personality. There are two different opposite side is the introversion. Extraversion means what basically? Your personality trait are sociability, enthusiasm and activity. What exactly reflects? You are energetic, you seek stimulation in the company of others. High extraversion, you are talkative, you can assess yourself. You may be energetic, you may be enthusiastic about interacting with others. Low extraversion, that means the introversion, is also one of the great symptoms of some people tend to feel more comfortable in solitary or smaller, quieter social settings. They are afraid basically in large gathering. Now see, one people having low extraversion, what they feel basically, they feel that one-to-one relationship. Normally they ignore any kind of large gathering. Extraversion is one of the major personality traits. It's not a hard thing, it's very common practices, common things we are observing in different managers and different group of people. Now, fourth number, agreeableness. Agreeableness, what exactly meaning? Compassionate, cooperative and willingness to get along with others. Compassionate, cooperative and willing to get along with others. Agreeableness. Compassionate means what? That means you can understand others and you have the attitude of empathic attitude. You can understand the problem of others. In the political economy, we have the different group of structures like as capitalism, socialism, communism. We prefer either capitalism, socialism or any other structure. Capitalism equally important, but nowadays people demand compassionate capitalism. That means you need to understand the problem of others. And it is the high agreeableness, kind, empathic, patient, helpful. It is one kind of practice of sportsmanship, practice of altruism, practice of the civic virtue. That means you are empathic enough. Low agreeableness, people with low agreeableness may be more competitive, critical, less concerned with other feelings. Now see what is the things we need to study out of that, this personality. Like as some of people in organizations, you have some of people, those who have the victims of skeptical, any work they won't believe others, skeptical. And they are more competitive, critical, less concerned with other feelings. I can firmly state that this kind of people may not be the good managers. This kind of people may not be the good businessman also. This particular person may not be good chief executive officer also. That because of you are having some of wrong traits of personality. That can be molded, that can be transformed, that can be that can have some kind of development if you have the sufficient mentoring, sufficient techniques of coaching, it's possible. Now see, neuroticism is one of the big context nowadays. What exactly? You have some kind of negative emotions such as anxiety, anger or depression, neuroticism. It's very common, almost all of people. See, common manager, they are not trained. Majority of the manager, they are not trained. Majority of the executives, majority of the CEO, they have learned by their experience. Neuroticism says anxiety is very common, anger is very common, depression is common. Now see, if you are prone to experiencing negative emotions like anxiety, depression and anger, what will happen basically? What is the repercussion of this kind of attitude, this kind of personality? That means you may have panic, even minor mistakes. And you may be constantly worrying about your job security. So anxiety, depression, anger, it is the symptom of the high neuroticism. Low neuroticism means emotionally stable, calm, resilient in stressful situation. This is the things we are demanding basically. That's why it is a big 5 personality, 5 factor model. Low neuroticism, emotionally stable, calm and resilient, which is very much needed, need of the hour. Suppose if you are emotionally stable, you may be the good HR manager. You may not be the finance manager, but you may be the good HR manager. You may be the good labor officer. You may be the good CEO if you are having low neuroticism. Resilient, of course, this is one of the very important part. Now see, this slide shows big 5 personality dimensions, characteristics: openness, agreeableness, conscientiousness, extraversion, neuroticism. That what kind of agreeableness, laughing face, openness, laughing face, conscientiousness, extraversion, neuroticism, in fact low neuroticism is the very good aspect of any organizations. Now see, comparative study of, because why we are studying this kind of things, we need to assess ourselves, what kind of personality we have. Being a student, you can assess yourself. We don't need any kind of other kind of psychometric test to understand neuroticism and other things, agreeableness. You can assess yourself. High, low. Openness to experience, what exactly? First states, you may be the creative, curious, are you creative or not? Imaginative or not? Open to new ideas or not? Enjoys trying new things or not? That means you will be knowing exactly what kind of openness you have. Low, conventional. Low, prefers routine, practical, prefers familiarity over new experience. Now see, it's very important part, openness to experience. Which level of employees need this kind of practice? And I am not saying that chief executive officer, middle level manager, low level manager or subordinates, specific type of categorization. That means this particular people need of openness needs every people. Those who are lacking some particular part, that can be enhanced. Conscientiousness is very important part. High level means organized, disciplined, goal oriented, tends to be thorough and careful tasks. Then low means disorganized, less focused on long-term goals, may procrastinate and have difficulty following thorough on tasks. Procrastination, there may be the chances of procrastination if you have the low conscientiousness. What exactly mean? That means always you can say no, 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 no. It is one of the symptom of withdrawal behavior. You may not accept any kind of challenges. Now see, extraversion, outgoing, energetic, sociable, enjoys being around others, likely to feel energized by social interaction. Then once you are low, you may be quiet, you may be prefer solitude and find social interactions draining. You may not prefer this kind of interaction. Agreeableness, compassionate, cooperative, empathic, and low agreeableness, competitive, critical, less concerned with other feelings, might be more prone to conflict or being blunt. Being a competitive, to be competitive is not bad, but thing is that at what level? Without understanding others, you may not be the good competitor. Neuroticism, emotionally stable, unstable, easily stressed and prone to experiencing negative emotions like sadness, frustration, calm, resilient, able to handle. I think these are the low-high symptoms. Now see, this is very important. Once you have different types of person, every person are having this type of high or low. I think personality traits, if you club all these things under one thread, you can find the 5 different personality. Then what kind of impact on workplace? This is very important. Since organization behavior is one of the very important part when we talk about the inclusive workplace, great place to work. We can say it is the place where one can enjoy if you understand the behavior, so-called organizational behavior. Now see, high openness may lead to innovation, whereas low openness might indicate a preference for stability. So high openness means innovation. High conscientiousness is linked to better job performance, especially in roles requiring attention to detail. Extroverts often excel in team-oriented, high-energy work environment. High agreeableness is linked to better teamwork, customer service, roles, but might lead to avoiding conflicts. High neuroticism may negatively affect job performance, especially in high-pressure solution. Now see, one of the things, students, you must be knowing, personality is not everything to understand the workplace behavior or organizational behavior. Personality is not the long-lasting issue. Personality is not inherited. Personality is situation-based. It is changeable. One can move from high to low, low to high. There are several techniques now we have basically through which we can convert low into high, high into low. Now see, application of big 5 dimensions in the workplace. Now where to apply these kind of things? OB and HR, both are interrelated. HR defines exactly what kind of practices of your employees, what way you can manage your employees by considering hiring to controlling of manpower. Now that cases also behavior is important. Without HR, OB is not possible. Without AB, HR is not possible. That's why both the things are termed as OB and HR, some cases HR and OB. Now see, where we can apply this kind of personality. And I think some job personality fit model, person job fit model, job characteristics model, different types of theories are there basically which defines exactly what kind of people required for particular type of job. This is very important. Employee selection and recruitment, this is one of the very important part. We can align personality with the particular job. And I think that when you see some kind of job advertisement or job profile, you can see that they are demanding some kind of people agreeableness, neuroticism type of people. Now it is one of the main thing. It's not important things what kind of educations you have. What is very important, what kind of personality you have. Recruitment and selection is equally important. Leadership development is very important. Now see, leadership is everywhere. Every people has to be leader, either in shop floor or managerial cadre or in the corporate board. Leadership everywhere. Now some persons are having some type of personality. Say in the shop floor level, some of people are working, blue collar employees. Then what kind of leadership is required that particular cases? They need the particular traits to do the particular job, to acquire the particular skills. So without understanding that personality, we can identify the people who is having what type of leadership skill. Now team dynamics and collaboration is very important part. We need the open-minded people basically for team building or team collaboration and collaboration. Nowadays almost all are collaborative work. You can see in HR functions, there are numerous people are there. In the case of hiring, you can find the different, interdependence department wing, those who can collectively define what type of people you need, how many people you are needed, how many resources you are needed. This is not the only thing. Everywhere you want to apply the particular techniques of HRD to develop the people. So similar type of people we need basically, so that we can mold, we can develop them. We need the particular cluster. We want to apply some kind of things, betterment of organizations. So what exactly we need basically, similar type of personality we need. So we need to identify exactly what kind of people are having what type of personality. Employee engagement and motivation is very important part of, some people are not engaged basically, there are three different part, engagement, disengagement or least engaged. Some people are highly engaged, some people are not engaged, some people are about to engaged. So I think personality is one of the great antecedents, whereas people are not engaged. Some people are not having good concentration, that because of his personality, his or her personality. So trace it out is very important thing. So application is the great part of Big Five personality. At least you can map the people who is having what type of personality. So Big Five personality actually is very important to define individual behavior dynamics, not only individual behavior dynamics, basically for HR officials, when do they define their development programs, when they define their compensation programs, when they define their training programs, when they define their controlling programs, and for different phases of HR, personality is very important. Acquisition, hiring, motivation, motivating the people, maintenance of the workforce, controlling of the workforce, every cases, it is very much needed. Now see, limitations of Big Five dimensions is very important. Big Five personality is the inventory of bundle of personality. Now see what they say basically, so many things are there, because personality that has been defined by different people in different way. But one particular context we are discussing basically, it does not include the all kind of traits. The traits are measured on a continuum which may not fully capture the complexity of human behavior. Now see, it is continuum. It does not fully capture the complexity of human behavior. I think so many other issues are there basically, Traits is not only the things. Cultural difference can influence how these traits are expressed or valued. It's a very important part. Cultural context. In your organization, what kind of people are there? What kind of cultures are there? This culture define what kind of personality may be. So ultimately, this personality has the great impact on shaping the individual behavior, shaping the organizational behavior, shaping the HR practices, and of course, that defines the organizational culture and that defines the organizational success. Now, some questions as I define the big five personality, what is it exactly? What are the behavior associated with high-low extraversion in the workplace? It is already in the slides. In what ways do the various traits of the big five personality dimensions influence behavior, performance in the workplace? Why big five personality dimensions influence behavior, performance in the workplace? See, behavior and performance and effectiveness all are three different contexts, whereas personality may be the great antecedents and its dimension is also the great antecedents. What types of behavior, what exactly he performed, that is so-called job outcome. Job outcome may be what level of your satisfaction, what level of your, turnover intention, what level of your commitment, what level of your tax performance, what level of your extra performance, extra role performance. It is the performance, it is so-called job outcomes. And ultimately that will affect on efficiency and so-called effectiveness. So all these things it depends on behavior, and behavior is clearly depends on the personality. So personality, behavior, performance, effectiveness, all these things has to be seen very categorically. Then definitely you can learn the issue and practically you can use in your practical field, in your practical job. What is the applicability of the big five personality dimensions in the workplace? Is very, what we can apply big five personality? In HR, which part of HR you can apply big five personality? You can't say that every people will be the extrovert, every people will be the introvert. Not necessary. What is the ideal combination? Agreeableness, low level, high level. High level is not possible, every people are high level of agreeableness, not necessary. It's not possible even. You can find any such organizations whereas same group of people are there. If same group of people lack of diversity, and that may lead some kind of problems. So applicability, you need to see proper combination, proper what kind of real combination, real cluster required in particular organizations. Now see, some of books I suggested to understand openness to experience, Greenberg books and the Roberts Jackson and others, 2009 books on conscientiousness also you can study, and the Glina and McShane 2021 organizational behavior you can see. Goldberg 1993 structure of phenotypic personality traits. I think these are all the some of books I have suggested basically for your ready reference, for your in-depth study, deep learning. It is very much needed. So all these things I have studied, all these things I have seen very categorically, and it's studying from the very beginning of individual behavior dynamics, 5-factor personality dimensions, and its definitions, 5 dimensions, and its applicability, and it's what way they can define the workplace, how it is linked with performance. Definitely that will help you in your career personality. So thank you very much for listening of the first lecture of second volume. Thank you.